Dr. Horrible is a wonderful story about a young man who tries to become a villain, partly to overcome the bullies of his youth, and partly so he can win the heart of the love of his life, Penny. When Dr. Horrible's nemesis, Captain Hammer, steals Penny from him, Dr. Horrible truly tries to become evil. It doesn't end well. Now, obviously, you likely already know all of this, but for those of you who don't mind being spoiled and are watching this video, that, in a very short nutshell, is the plot. Billy, the young man who's trying to be Dr. Horrible, is head over heels in love with Penny, and yet he finds that he can't talk to her. And therein lies the problem. After a while, Billy and Penny do begin to talk, and Billy misses the fairly obvious signs that Penny feels the same way about him that he does about her. I mean, yeah, technically she's going out with Captain Hammer, but come on, she clearly doesn't actually love him. And so, instead of trying to have more conversations with her, he builds a death ray for the purpose of killing Captain Hammer, which is an idea that he had originally shuddered at. And all this happens because he has to kill somebody so he can get into the Evil League of Evil. But here's the thing to point out about Billy. He's a nice guy, but he convinces himself that the only way that Penny's going to notice him is if he's evil. Which we, the audience, know to be untrue, because we see that Penny is clearly waiting for Billy to show up at the laundromat while he's busy building his death ray. He is so intent in being evil to impress the girl that he doesn't even realize that he doesn't have to be evil to impress the girl. She's already impressed, and he ultimately suffers because he doesn't realize this. In the final showdown, it's not Hammer who dies, it's Penny. So Horrible ends up being in the Evil League of Evil, but at the worst possible cost. And he needed this jolt of reality. He was living so long in this fantasy of becoming evil that he was completely neglecting what was actually happening in his life. As harsh as it sounds, he needed this wake-up call. He needed to realize that his ideal world isn't all that ideal, and if he had just looked at what was right in front of him, he could have had a happy ending. And that, ultimately, is why Penny had to die. Because I honestly believe that even if he had gotten to the Evil League of Evil without killing Penny, they wouldn't have ended up together because Penny wouldn't have wanted to still be with him after he's killed somebody. Now, I know that Dr. Horrible will eventually get a sequel once Joss is done with all those Avenger things. And my hope is that he will learn from the mistakes that he made in the first movie so that he can finally get the happy ending that he deserves. But until that happens, we can just hope. And I will see all of you tomorrow.